The thief crawled out from under the bed, greedily eyeing the sleeping woman. He skillfully poured out the sedative and gently covered her nose and mouth. As she inhaled the drug, she quickly slipped into unconsciousness. The man then drew back the curtains to admire the beautiful night view, preparing for a pleasant evening ahead. Meanwhile, she, completely unaware, went about her usual routine, washing up in the bathroom. After brushing her teeth, she adjusted her toothbrush and wiped up the water on the floor. She then gathered up all the hair she had shed and set the alarm clock before climbing into the woman's bed, wrapping his naked body around hers as he fell asleep. When the alarm went off on time, the man got up, dressed in his pants, and kindly covered the woman with a blanket. Then, without making a sound, he vanished. 2 hours later, the sedative wore off. The alarm rang again, and the woman groggily woke up, feeling weak and disoriented. She also felt an inexplicable pain in her body, but when she was washing up earlier, she hadn't noticed anything strange. Her name was Huizi. Having lived alone for a long time, she had developed the habit of airing out men's underwear for safety, and even placing a pair of men's shoes outside her door. But that morning, she noticed the door lock seemed to have been tampered with. She anxiously looked around and immediately changed the lock's code. However, when she returned home from work later that day, she found the lock cover had been removed again. Huizi was immediately alarmed and noticed a note left on the door. It turned out that her mother had visited, but that night, she couldn't shake the feeling of unease and couldn't sleep. Just then, Huizi heard a strange noise outside. She cautiously approached the door and suddenly heard someone trying to force the lock open from the outside. Terrified, Huizi froze, holding her breath. She quietly tiptoed to the door, peering through the peephole. What she saw only made her panic more. The hallway outside was empty. She cautiously opened the door and peered out, but the entire hallway was deserted, with nothing left but a discarded cigarette butt. The officer who later came to investigate picked up the cigarette butt, but it didn't serve as any real evidence. The two officers didn't take it seriously, simply advising Huizi to lock her door and avoid making false reports. Despite their reassurances, Huizi eventually fell asleep, still anxious. But in the dead of night, the creep returned. He had cleaned himself up and, completely naked, crawled into Huizi's bed with her. This intense scene is from a Korean thriller film called Door Lock.